shelter, and there happened to be 4 complete strangers in the neighborhood trying to help people out, and they ran to the shelter, cleared the debris, and got them out. So obviously very frightening moments for this couple. Just across the street, a 2-bedroom home honestly looks like it's barely standing now. The tornado blew right through it. Fortunately, that couple who owned the house, they actually were not home, but they told us they had just purchased the home last month. But we are just along Highway 177, and I don't know if you can hear the sound right now, but you can hear the sound of chainsaws and people trying to clear out the debris. But good news, while we're out here, we have not gotten any reports of injuries, just a lot of damage. We're seeing people's roofs pieces of the roof that have been blown across the street. They're now dangling off of power lines. So it is messy out here, a lot of debris. And one thing Jimmy and I were kind of talking about, if you don't live in this neighborhood, if you don't live in these areas where there's so much damage, it's a good idea to stay away. We've found a lot of people out here with their iPhones snapping pictures, and, first responders are trying to get through these neighborhoods, trying to find out, make sure everybody's okay. So if you don't have to be in these areas that are heavily damaged, don't go in there. That's what we're for. We're the news. We're out here trying to help out first responders and bring you guys those pictures. But again, just stay away. I think that's the best advice. But, it's just been a crazy day out here in Shawnee. We saw earlier today on I-40 a rescue going on. A tractor trailer had overturned, and I believe it appeared that the driver was trapped inside. I don't know the condition of the driver, but that's really what we're seeing out here. We have heard rumors of possibly some deaths, but again, that is unconfirmed information. But right here in this neighborhood along 177, it just seems like a lot of people tonight are just breathing a sigh of relief. A lot of people, it's kind of a cliche, but everybody's saying, possessions can be replaced. We're just happy that our family members are alive. But that is the very latest out here, and we're going to continue to stay out here and listen to some of these unbelievable stories of people who just had minutes to get into their storm shelter, and now they're walking out and looking at all the damage out here.
Okay.
Just incredible that there were no injuries in that area. Michael, thank you for your report. And that's the good news when you hear, unfortunately, in other areas, there have been injuries.
Yeah, and this is all in the area of Shawnee as well, because what we have seen so much of tonight is the mobile home park that is destroyed. And Michael's not at the mobile home park. He's where freestanding houses are. But fortunately, those people had the storm shelters to get into. Over at the mobile home park, boy, that place there's nothing left of so many homes right there.
That's over at Highway 102 in Independence, just east of the Shawnee Reservoir. Naveen Dhaliwal has been in that area. Naveen, I understand you have been driving around, as we're looking at some pictures from Sky 5, trying to find a way to get in to this mobile home area to talk to first responders and people who live there, but you're having a difficult time because of all of the debris.
Yes, Jessica, I'm actually having a very difficult time. First of all, we're just trying to figure out exactly where we are and where we can go, because I'm off of Drummond Road, and if some of you don't understand where that is, which I'm trying to figure it out as well, because this is not an area that we frequent, but it is just northwest of Shawnee is exactly where we are. And, we arrived here about, I'd say about maybe 15, 20 minutes ago, and I don't know if we were actually going around in turns, but we did come across a roadblock, and they told us we couldn't go through because of down power lines. There were trees. But as I was coming here, there are a lot of emergency crews around, and you have to, watch what you say, or not say. We have to watch, you have to give them the right of way. But right now, as you saw from Sky 5, this mobile home park has just been leveled. A lot of debris. We did see one person also, being taken away into an ambulance on a stretcher, so we don't know their condition right now. But we're trying to get into this mobile home park, and as Michael was saying, it's sort of the same story as when we were coming down I-40 eastbound. A lot of trees snapped. We saw homes with the roofs just were gone. You could really tell where that tornado had gone through, because it's perfectly fine, and then all of a sudden, just branches snapped off of trees, so you can really tell where it is. But we did see that semi-truck also on Interstate 40. which had backed up a lot of traffic. But again, we're trying to get into this mobile home park, just figuring it out. And we just stopped off and spoke with a local. So hopefully we're going to get into it as soon as possible.
Hey, Naveen, I want to ask you a little bit about your day earlier, because your day actually started up in Edmond where there was some damage there. And I know you had one house that was pretty heavily damaged. Did you see a lot of damage there in Edmond as well? I know it's nothing like what you see in Shawnee.
No, not at all, Paul. Actually, I was in the Thornbrook neighborhood that was just near 33rd and Bryant. You know, in that area, there were a lot of homes with shingles taken off. There were trees that were snapped off. Some are just uprooted. But then you came around the corner, it was called Kensington Street, I believe, or Kensington Avenue, and that's where most of the damage was. I did see that home that I had, we did the live shot, or I reported earlier, where the part of the roof was just gone. I mean, there were, you know, slabs of, I guess, roof, I guess you want to call them slabs, in the, you know, sitting just by the neighbor's pool. So that's safe tonight, though. She's going to spend time with her family, so that's a good thing. But right now, I think we do have the latest report we have from Edmond. There's 7 homes that sustained damage so far. No injuries. That is the latest from police. And they were, when we left Edmond about an hour, they were going home to home, making sure that everyone is safe. You know, they were also in that Thornbrook neighborhood. They also were not allowing some people in. You know, those. The ones who just the looky-loos, as you want to call them, you know, they didn't want them to come into those neighborhoods because, again, emergency crews always have the right.
Okay, hey, I've got one more question for you, Naveen, because I know you're near that mobile home park right now up in Shawnee. You're losing light. We're just about 9 o'clock. I'm guessing there's no power. It must be really dark out there tonight.
It's getting dark. It's definitely getting dark, and when you don't know, you know, again, we're not out here as often. We are trying to make our way around, but I have some very good contacts here in Potawatomi County, and I'm in touch with them and trying to make my way again, what is safe for us, as well as long as we're out of, you know, out of the way of a cruise as well. We did see at one corner, we did see a lot of neighbors. They were gathered in an area. We didn't have a chance to talk because we were asked to turn very quickly and just keep on going because there was traffic behind us. But I did see maybe I'd say about 24 neighbors, like, you know, they were in their cars, and I from what I can take from this, that they were not allowed to go back to their homes again because of the down power lines and that danger there. So we're going to circle around a few times, but you know, time right now is, or the night here is kind of going against us. But again, we have some good people out here in Paw County who are very, very helpful, and we're going to work with them, and of course they're going to work with us.
And Naveen, I know you've been working the phones as you guys were making your way out there to this mobile home park. Have you had a chance to talk to perhaps any of your contacts or your sources about the number of injuries, the number of rescues, how many mobile homes may have been in this area that were damaged or destroyed?
The latest from Shawnee Police that I got was they couldn't come up with a number because it was just that they're assessing the damage. It starts off with a dozen, then it goes up to, you know, a dozen and a half. So they were very careful as to what they said to me. What they did tell me about an hour ago was they did not hear of any injuries. Now, that could have changed because they did say that dispatch is very, very busy. Shawnee Police, the detective I'm in touch with, is out here, and I told him I'm on my way, so I'm supposed to meet up with them just as soon as we figure out exactly where to meet up. Because, again, it's that initial confusion as to, you know, who needs that immediate care, which is their number one priority. And I'm just coming up to another roadblock on Independence and Drummond Road, and here we have again a lot of deputies here. We have a deputy flashing a light at us, and he's about to come over to our window. We're going to figure out exactly what we're going to do.
Okay. Naveen Dhaliwal, let us know, give us an update as you continue to make your way around this mobile home park that's been demolished there at Highway 102 in Independence in Shawnee. And we want to go over to the Kearney area as well.
And that's where Patty Moon is right now. And Patty, you've been at this energy company that they really sought shelter in the building. They were in a safe room. They survived. But this place has a pretty important job there for folks in Kearney, right?
Yeah, Paul and Jessica, we want to talk about the Equal Energy Company. This company is responsible for getting electricity to homes to make sure that wells are working in this area. All of the electricity in town obviously completely shut down right now. That also means that we have no running water here. I want to show you, this is the shop where people work out of. I'm going to have my photographer zoom in. If you see that ETI, you can see that is one of the trucks that the workers use. It is buried in this building that has just been completely mangled. And it is getting dark here, so you can't see too well, but if we can, we're going to pan over and show you this area over here is actually where they had all of their transformers. And so that's going to be something that all these workers have to look at, too, to see if any of these transformers that were out here were salvageable. But this tornado just completely ripped through the shop. And then we were showing you earlier where people were huddled in the office building. That was torn apart. There was also a small storage shed out here that is completely gone. So a lot of damage here at this energy company, and it does have an important job here in town. So the workers are actually still here. They are doing what they can to salvage what they can in these buildings and do assessments. We're also seeing emergency workers drive by us. So we do know that, even though it's dark outside, everybody in town is still working right now. Jessica and Paul, back to you.
Okay, bad and really terrible. I mean, not only don't they don't have power, now they don't have water because the place that supplies the water is down because of the storm.
And that's not a good situation. Last night in Edmond, when my power went out, I sat there and I thought, I'm so glad I have water.
Right.
And so, I feel for them tonight, that situation, not having any power, any water. Let's go to one of our other crews, Ariel Reshef, who joins us now from the Little Axe area, not far from Lake Thunderbird. What kind of damage are you seeing, or what kind of injuries are you hearing about, Ariel?
Well, Jess and Paul, at this point, we can't confirm much because we're stuck here at a police checkpoint. If you take a look, Carson will pan on over here. We're stuck at a police staging area. They don't want anyone, including the residents in this neighborhood, traveling beyond this point. There is still a massive rescue and search operation going on here. So far, authorities tell us they have not had reports of injuries, but we can tell you there are some harrowing stories coming from people in this area. We talked to some volunteers that were just going through and scouring the neighborhood, trying to help their fellow residents. And we heard from one man who said his house was fine, but his next door neighbor's house was completely demolished. He had to actually try to take her out, extract her from that home. He managed to do that successfully, and then they went on to the next homes in the area. And it was just an incredible experience. He said if you stood at the top of the hill when it was still light outside, you could see about a fourth of a mile of just total devastation, total destruction in this area. A lot of residents thanking their lucky stars that they're not part of that devastation, while a lot of residents here still don't know exactly what the fate of their homes are at this point. Of course, we'll get you the very latest as soon as we get up into the area where all of that devastation has occurred. Back to you guys.
Okay, Ariel. And Ariel, if you get a chance, try to grab one of those residents just to hear from them their own personal story of what they went through, what they heard, and what they saw as well.
Yeah, because every single person has a story about surviving this whole thing. This thing went for miles on the ground. We saw the pictures from Sky 5, and it tore up so much stuff, including shutting down the highway as well.
Yeah, we had some Sky 5 video of I-40 being shut down there at Highway 177. Kim Passoff joins us now to talk about this. And Kim, is the interstate still shut down in both directions?
Paul and Jessica, the interstate is still closed at this point. We are at I-77 and I-40 here in Shawnee, and it is a chaotic scene, lots of traffic backup because there is so much devastation in this area. I was speaking to some police officers. They told me that there were dozens of homes hit in Shawnee and that Bethel Acres is even worse. They're having trouble even getting to those locations because there's so much debris and damage on the road that they can't even assess everything that has happened at this point. We're having trouble getting even to these communities ourselves because of all of the closed roads at this point and the debris that litters it. But again, I-40 is